Oh, I've been rewatching wrestling since I stopped watching it before, pretty much before John Cena came out. So I think I stopped watching wrestling. Oh God, I want to say 2003, 2004. And then, as you know, I only picked it up last year when it debuted on Netflix.
Correct. Yeah, yeah.
And it's been a great year. I wouldn't say it's been a great year. Like it's been inconsistent, but there's been some really great moments and things that I think about. I really liked the year started off. I loved the Kevin Owens Cody Rhodes match. I miss Kevin Owens because he was like an early fan favorite for me when I started rewatching. And right up until SummerSlam, I loved the Seth Rollins swerve. Um, that was great, and it was an awesome work because it transcended. It went into like real life social media, and then it had a great payoff, like in the Money in the Bank, like cashing that in. That was my first cash in that I had seen, so that's how long it's been since I've seen wrestling, and so I remember hearing rumors about a return of AJ Lee. Now, over the last year that I've been watching wrestling, one thing has really stood out to me is that I find the women's division, the women's side of WWE to be way more enticing overall than the men's side. Um, I wouldn't say from a storyline perspective. I would say from just a purely entertaining, like these are awesome matches, great athleticism, amazing stuff, and even with things coming up the pipe, like with Sol Ruka coming up in NXT and her stuff that she's been in WWE. Like there's a lot of exciting stuff going on. Stephanie Vaquer, um, Jade Cargill, who I like, and Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and then I love the ship between Io and Rhea right now. I
Rio.
might buy that shirt. I might buy that shirt. I'm not gonna lie. Uh, I love the women's division. And so to circle back to AJ Lee, there was a lot of hype about, oh my God, AJ Lee hasn't been back since 10 years. And obviously, I know she's married to CM Punk, so I get that. And there was, when she did return, uh, it was huge and she got a huge pop. And then she's got this program with Becky Lynch. Um, I like Becky. At least I like her as a heel. I'm not sure that I'm 100% sold on like the match work stuff, but I like her personality and I like the overall vibe. But I feel because I was not there for the AJ Lee run, I wasn't there for any of that stuff because that was WWE the Divas stuff. I don't know really anything about that. I was not there for the beginning of the women's stuff. That I kind of feel like I don't get how AJ Lee fits into the current WWE thing with the program. I mean, with so many great women superstars right now who are phenomenal wrestlers, I don't know where she fits, and I don't know what you think, and I don't know how much you've been keeping up with it. So I kind of wanted to just get your opinion of being like, you know, I know they're setting up for Elimination Chamber. Becky is going to go against AJ Lee for the Intercontinental Belt. But do you think that AJ Lee is a viable candidate to go on a belt run, like a mid card belt run, which is what the Intercontinental Championship is, right? I mean, it's
Correct.
a mid card belt. It's like the U.S. title. Like it's like okay, it is what it is. But do you still feel like she's relevant? Because even her mic work, I'm kind of like I'm not 100% sold on. Right? We just had an epic Roman Reigns versus CM Punk showdown, which is one of the best showdowns I've seen in a long time, a couple weeks ago. Um, and I've seen other segments. Yeah, Liv Morgan comes to mind. It's unfortunate that Stephanie Becker is kind of struggling with English, although she's great. But I've always been a person where it's like, yes, you do have to know how to wrestle, but you also have to cut promos. And I have not really been blown away by the AJ Lee experience. That's me. So
So,
wondering what your thoughts are.
all right. So there's many thoughts, many answers, or many questions. So yes, obviously, when AJ Lee was at the height of her game, it's not what she did for the Divas division. It's how she changed it. Her and Paige, who still hoping Paige comes back, even if it's just for a one-off or just an appearance. But I'm not going to go down that road at the moment because at that time, you're right, women's wrestling since 2017, 2018 has skyrocketed. Like Becky Lynch, yes, she is a great heel. She's a better heel. But when she had her face turn and she became the man, and she was the first woman to main event, I mean, obviously with Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair, but she won that match,
Yeah.
the main event WrestleMania, because she was a crowd favorite. They wanted to see her succeed because they were pushing others, and she was the workhorse. So, but back then, a lot kind of like a little bit better than the Attitude Era. I mean, I hate to say that. I mean, women's wrestling. Let me rephrase that because women's matches in the Attitude Era weren't really matches, and in the
No.
Divas Era, the hard part is just none of them stood out. They had these quick 5-minute matches at best. Title didn't really matter. And then AJ Lee came around, and she's a lot smaller than a lot of these other female wrestlers. But her mic work then, and I am going to get to now, was phenomenal because she played a great heel. And when she was injured, they put her in like the GM role, and that's how her and Punk kind of started interacting on screen, and that's how they became an item. But her mic work, like if you look up AJ Lee Pipe Bomb, and she tears down that Divas division, because at that time there's a show, Total Divas, like she's just saying, you guys are reality, I'm here wrestling, come to my level. You know, it was a way just to smack them down to try and rise them. The best line was with the Bella Twins, and she just stared him down and was like, just so you know, talent is not sexually transmitted.
Wow.
Because obviously the Bella Twins were dating at that time John Cena and Daniel Bryan, who Daniel Bryan's in AEW, one of the best technical wrestlers ever. Like, I would put him up there with Bret Hart for if you've never seen Daniel Bryan. He's that good technically. But anyhow, so yes, AJ Lee kind of along with CM Punk, you know, whatever. People know they left the WWE, and she said it in her first thing. She was fine. She was finally content with her life. Whatever brought her back behind the scenes. The hard part is this. Yes, she fits in, but she doesn't need to fit in like she used to. Because she's a part-timer. She can let these other superstars like a Sol Ruca shine. You know, Becky's been around. Becky's on this basically the tail end of her career. She's been doing this in the WWE for at least 10 years. And God knows what she's doing before. She's still doing great work. But the good thing is they're building new stars. You know, you got Rhea Ripley. You know, that's what they need to do. So she never probably wanted to be a full-timer. So these, you know, now you mentioned, let's go to the Intercontinental Championship. Yes, it's a building stone. Becky Lynch does not need that belt. She's a main eventer. She's a champion. She's a Hall of Famer. But they put her in that program initially to win it from Lyra Valkyrie and with Maxine Dupree to help elevate the belt. Because you mentioned the U.S. title. No one gives a shit about the U.S. women's title right now. And because
who is the U.S. championship? Who is the title holder for the U.S.
Julia? Guila.
Oh,
she won it
okay,
back.
Yes.
Hopefully after WrestleMania season, I think that's when we might see more of her. So is AJ Lee the one to take it off? Yes, it's weird that's Elimination Chamber, but I think what's going to happen at WrestleMania, it'll be more, because everyone thought that this was the match that should have happened at WrestleMania, whether or not AJ Lee wins or not. Like, but so we feel like they can't run it back. They might add more participants. If AJ Lee does win it, she's not holding it long. She's not around enough, and she does respect the company enough. It's also a way to get the belt off of Becky and to possibly pass it to someone else for Becky to get back into the title picture. Kind of like what will happen with Rhea Ripley when she's done with the Io Sky, you know, that tag team. Becky belongs in the title picture. She's a main, you know, but they have to find ways to. You have
There's
to
too many.
stars.
There's
Correct.
too many people in that picture right now. There's way too many.
But Becky Lynch has been doing the best work where she can lose at AJ Lee. They can do a 4 or 5, whatever, you know, Maxine Dupree, I think it was, who had it, or maybe someone new. And AJ Lee, yeah, so she doesn't need the title, but they could put the title on her kind of as a thank you, a way to, more or less, a way to get Becky Lynch's character to keep going forward. And AJ Lee can work with now some of these other, because the thing is, AJ Lee's only truly worked with Becky Lynch. Wrestling wise, yeah, she was in the ring. War games, but that's very I'm more talking about one-on-one. so she can have a couple matches because she's not here for the long run. The problem
Right.
is now going to her mic work. I saw the latest one where she goaded Becky into the match. The hard part is, and I said this with CM Punk when CM Punk returned to WWE, the way the fans love him and the way the fans welcome him back, same with AJ Lee. At this point, you can't make her a heel. Because AJ Lee was a great heel. CM Punk was a
Oh yeah.
great heel. And you can see
Right.
those tendencies in his promos. Like he can go kind of like what Kevin Owens did, even though Kevin Owens is more heel. But, when you can tiptoe the line. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, they have been simplistic because it's basically her and Becky Lynch. Obviously, the Seth Rollins, the tag team was great. The War Games, she could be masked. She hasn't wrestled in 10 years. She even said it. She hasn't done one singles match in 10 years. And I think that's why they want her to work with Becky Lynch, because, again, a great worker, she can run the match. AJ Lee can kind of follow her and then just work it out. It's not like
Yeah.
AJ Lee has to be the professional because 10 years is a long time. She still looks great.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think she aged
Oh,
a
of
day. If
course.
Sam Punk came back, he had his gray hairs. I'm like, yeah, he's our age. I get this shit. So, yeah, but the thing is, she's not going for a title. She could have came back as, well, I'm gonna go for a world title. I'm AJ Lee. No, she understands her place in this company right now. She wants to probably work with a younger star too, which she will get into probably when the
Yeah.
Becky Lynch stuff is done. So at post WrestleMania, she's on a part time schedule, so she doesn't need to be around that much. Because there is plenty of women wrestlers that they revitalized the women's tag team, like you said, with Ripley and Io Sky. Um,
Hmm.
the only thing they haven't done. So, yeah, has her promos lately been playing? Probably, but the last one didn't need to be. She just had to goad Becky into a fight, and Becky kind of carried that just because she's the heel that thinks AJ Lee doesn't deserve a title win. But what did AJ Lee just probed and poked her until Lynch gave in? So, yeah, I think right now, just her being back doesn't, the mic work, yeah, it's different, but the crowd's chanting her names, just like with CM Punk. You can't turn her
Yeah,
heel.
she's over. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, if you're over, you're over. Like, that's that, and I get that, right? Because we've talked about Jey Uso and how I'm just like,
Yeet, yeet,
I don't
yeet.
understand Jey Uso, and they removed him from the title picture because they put him in the
Tag
tag
team.
team thing with his brother. Um, and I didn't get the Yeet thing at all. But I mean, I know Roman Reigns is a part timer too, and obviously I missed out on Roman Reigns' whole entire run. But like, yo, his promo with CM Punk was absolutely fucking fire. That he had, like, where he was just like, I hate you and I'm gonna take that title from you. It took away a lot of the heat from the Finn Balor bullshit because you're like, there's no way Finn Balor is going to beat CM Punk at freaking Elimination Chamber, like, for the belt now. So now it's like the storyline is Finn Balor gonna leave Judgment Day? Is he gonna have a face turn? Or because now he's like got this whole thing where he's like, I want to win on my own terms, which is an honorable thing, which heels don't do honorable things. But to go back to AJ Lee, it's just that I like her vibe. I just haven't been blown away yet, and I'm not trying to be a negative asshole
No,
about it. I've just been like, I've seen other in the past year that I've been watching. I've been so impressed by the women's side of things, and it's been to be honest, it's been my favorite part about WWE. That there's just other people that, I mean, like, they had to put Io Sky and Rhea in a box as tag team champions because it's like, otherwise, how are they not in the championship mix? And
correct.
there's just too much going on right now with Liv Morgan back, and Liv Morgan's doing a program. I think Liv Morgan's doing a program with Stephanie Vacker.
Oh, that's why with Dominic Mysterio,
Um,
it's been that helps with
yeah,
the
which I mean, and
language
that
barrier.
kind of that worked for me. But I like Liv Morgan as a heel. And I think that she's pretty good too. On the SmackDown side of things, I because I'm assuming that whoever wins the Elimination Chamber is probably going to go against Jade at WrestleMania.
Most likely,
Uh,
yes.
in that situation, so you figure, is it time for Rhea Ripley to go against Jade in a WrestleMania event? Like, is that I mean, that's a huge match. Is it time? Because like you just almost you have to keep Rhea away from the World Championship because it's like so tempting to just put her as the face of of that side of WWE because she's Rhea Ripley. Like, I don't think to me that there's still a bigger draw than Rhea Ripley on that side of things. She's an absolute superstar. But you got to work these angles in and everything, and so it's hard for me to imagine like a program with with Rhea Ripley versus AJ Lee, or AJ Lee versus Io Sky, or AJ Lee versus Jade somehow. I know she's not SmackDown, but you know what I mean? Like I can't picture that.
And you
So
don't
maybe
have
they'll
to.
do something, maybe they'll do something interesting, but I just don't like it big picture wise, I just don't see it happening. But you know.
And that's one thing I can actually respect, because when a lot of legends return, you're like, even if you look at like Nikki Bella, who also was from the Diva era, who AJ Lee ran
Yeah.
down. Nikki Bella had championship opportunities, like right because of her name, and she could not perform like she used to. I mean, I'm not saying she was a great performer back then, anyways. She was more of
Mhm.
a probably the most popular one because of the reality shows and shit, and it
Mhm.
showed. No, I don't think if AJ Lee. First of all, I need to see how she does in a one-on-one match in the ring. Because if
Yes.
she can still go, then yeah, they might entrust her more. But again, I don't think she's asking for it, because like even when Goldberg came back, um, he came back and won the title a couple times off of Kevin Owens, off of Bray Wyatt, and people were like, "What the fuck are you doing? Why?" And she was just
Yeah.
like, "Listen, I don't need the world title. She's had her championship days. She's had her era. She's
Right.
like, I want to work with. She probably wants to. She also wants to work with Roxanne Perez, her and CM
Yeah.
Punk's, aka kayfabe daughter.
Of
But you know what?
course. Yeah.
So there, that's the thing. You don't need to thrust her into a main event spotlight. Let the main eventers be. It's Ripley's time. Like you said, it's Io Sky's time. Jade Cargill still needs her big moment. Um, she doesn't need to be there, and that's the thing. She knows that. She's like, yeah, I can just come in. Her and Becky Lynch. This has been the hot story. This is what we know they've been working to. I'm just surprised they're pulling it off a Chamber, which makes me believe the WrestleMania match is going to be a kind of a multi-woman, whether it's a ladder or something like that. Just
Oh
because if AJ
yeah.
Lee wins it,
You're right.
Becky
Yep.
Lynch could, then other whatever. They'll work something out. It's in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yes, I can see AJ
Mhm.
Lee winning it. Because Becky, it's going to be more Becky Lynch's character. She's just gonna kind of get overconfident, because she's obviously AJ Lee's going to play the underdog because babyface, but also all the reasons. And who knows? Or there might be shenanigans. I don't think there will be. I think this is just a way, give AJ Lee some props, keep that Intercontinental Championship elevated, because now you've had
Mhm.
another superstar. So when someone beats AJ Lee, she can kind of hand it over. She's not going to do a heel turn, most likely. And then that person can run with it. Again, like we thought Maxine Dupree would do after she upset Lynch. It just kind of went back. So, and then who knows? Like, who knows where it goes? So, you're right. I mean, have the promos been fire? No. She's just played the part that she's needed to play. I don't think they need to ask more from her right now. She doesn't need to be in the title picture. They're not going to put her in the title picture unless, like I said, her wrestling ability somehow, again, this is 10 years, just outperforms what the rest of the women's division's doing. And I don't think it can. And it's nothing against her. She just hasn't done it. But
Right.
somehow they're looking like, damn, she can still really go. We gotta maybe do one last run. Then they'll work out a program either side of things. But I don't think they will. I don't. Again, knowing her and knowing what why she came back, yeah, I think she just did it just to be like, listen, I left on bad terms. I kind of just wanted to have a little fun, be with my husband a little bit, and just,
Yeah.
just work with some new people who I didn't get a chance to work with. So in a way, kind of like what Punk's doing, they're like, we can now have a proper goodbye whenever that happens. Like, all right, we got all the bad blood with the WWE out of our system. They said some things, we said some things, I'm not saying they're the innocent ones, because they've said some shit after they left. Do not get me wrong, but if the money's to be made, you'll shake hands. So again, you're probably not going to see the AJ Lee that I saw, that because they don't need it.
Mhm.
They don't need it. Just the same reason they didn't need John Cena more than like whatever 40 dates, even though rumor has it he wanted to work a full schedule his final year. Like he wanted to even do some house
He didn't
shows.
look like his body could do it.
No,
He didn't look
at
like it.
first, no, but people would still pay for tickets, and they were like, "No, let's just keep it to this." So, but if he would have showed up to more shows, even if it wasn't a wrestle, at least the promos, and he could at least elevate things, like because that heel turn was garbage. So, But no, I
It was
mean,
garbage, but he did get better
of
as the
course he
year
did
went on.
because
With the
the
matches and
rust
everything.
got
But
off of
they
him.
were oh, yeah, as it went on, it just I started seeing because like I never saw any of his run. I've seen highlights here and there and everything, but so the only thing I know about John Cena is the last year, right? Which is
Yes.
like what are you talking about? That doesn't encapsulate any of the stuff that he
No.
did for WWE. And I get that, but from a purely like wrestling standpoint, he did some good shit. And the second half of that stuff, I think it was poorly booked at the beginning. Um, but yeah, the drop storylines are the worst. I know the story, still continues, but yeah, I still think like CM Punk still has a few years left.
Oh
I mean,
God, yeah.
I
I
still
think
I still think he has some juice. He's still popular. He
top
pops.
promos.
He's got great promos. Like, and he can still do the thing. I think he's still got some stuff left in him for sure.
He does, and it'll be interesting where this all goes. Yeah, and we'll see what happens, and just leave it at that. But yeah, Elimination Chamber in Chicago. Um, it's just so weird how much they're not that I do not think Finn Balor is going to beat him, but
No,
I feel like there's something where story wise, whether he gets hurt a little bit, whether just and he's limping in. I don't know. The way this is going down feels like there's going to be something more, and whether or not he gets jumped and Finn Balor saves him, because obviously the end result seems to be Balor versus Mysterio right now. So who knows? We'll see what happens. Um,
you can't like jeopardize the freaking Roman Reigns versus CM Punk
no,
at
that's the
WrestleMania.
moneymaker.
That is the fucking that's it right there. I might fucking get ESPN just to fucking watch it. You know what I mean? Like that's a draw, right?
Yes.
Like I'd be like, okay, yeah, I could do ESPN for a month for $30. Like if I get to watch that 2 night event because I'm gonna want to see that live. Like I'm not gonna want to wait for highlights. I'm gonna want to see how that turns out, and that's strictly based on how fucking awesome that promo was.
So
And so it's there's
let
not
me
really a storyline between them. It's just that one promo drove the fucking match.